Hey there, superstar. In this video, we're going to talk about how your energy determines your business success. When people get into business, they want to succeed. They want to win, they want to make money, they want to have everything work out. And the way that most people do that, and the way I did it when I first started my business, was to set goals, create strategies, implement the strategies, execute the tasks and projects, and then check in to see if you met the goals. And if you worked hard enough, then for sure you were going to make it. And I'm not saying that that doesn't work. I did it and it did work, kind of, for the first 7.5 years. The problem was that I got completely burnt out and realized that I was completely out of alignment with what I loved to do and what I had originally set out to do in my business, which was to create something fun and joyful that supported my lifestyle. And the reason for that is that I completely ignored the energy from which I was creating the business. Let me explain. So when I started my business, I did so pretty precipitously, meaning I didn't give it a lot of thought. I was miserable in my job. I was unhappy. Things weren't working out. I was resentful. I was blaming my bosses. I was blaming the work environment. I had all these issues and challenges, and I was blaming everybody outside of me. So I said, oh, here's the solution. I'm going to create my own business, and I'm going to be my own boss, and everything's going to be great. Now, when I did that, the first priority that I had was I wanted to replace that income. I was nervous because I had made really good money over here in my job, and I wanted to not only make that money and be able to pay my bills and eat, I also wanted to look good. I wanted my old colleagues and bosses to be like, wow, she totally made it. She's a total success. There was a lot of ego driving the train. And so the energy from which I was creating that business was the energy of scarcity, the energy of proving something to somebody, the energy of pressure and having to make it happen. I basically took the energy that I had been operating in over here and just brought it with me over here. And that was a mistake. And I spent 7.5 years building the business from that place, only to have kind of a rude awakening, wake-up call, and realize, oh my God, I've built something that I don't enjoy. That, yeah, it makes some money, but it's not easy and graceful. It's a lot of work. It's back-busting work. And so I had to come to terms with the fact that I had built an entire business that I didn't love. And I kind of wanted to walk away from it. I realize this now in hindsight since I've been working with a certain mentor. Her name is Nanilea Diamond. She's incredible. She's a good friend, a colleague, a mentor, and a client. You can find her over on Facebook. She has an amazing group of women on Facebook called Full Glory. And she's the one that first told me this quote, and I will share it with you because it's so powerful. The energy from which you create guides and determines the energy of what you create. I'm going to repeat it because it's so important. The energy from which you create guides and determines the energy of what you create. In other words, I was creating this business from fear, from scarcity, from pressure and approving energy, and that's what I ended up with. A business that propagated more pressure, more scarcity, more fear, more of that hustle, hard work. It impacted everything from how I sold to my clients. It impacted how I priced my services too low because I was so worried about getting rejected and having people not want my services that I was pricing it at a level where I thought that I could get more business, which was also keeping me busy. So you can see how the energy from which I was creating this new business, it infiltrated every strategic decision I made. Now, before I get into the solution and what to do about it, how to cultivate the energy that you want to develop your business from, let me invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even shoot me a comment below and let me know how this is landing for you. So if the energy from which you create guides and determines the energy of what you create, it makes sense to think, well, we need to cultivate the energy that we want to create from. And we might even want to work backwards and say, all right, what are we getting to? What are we looking to create here? Okay, let's pretend I went back in time to the beginning of my business 14 years ago and I said, okay, Michelle, what do you want? How do you want to feel? How do you want this business to go? And I would have said, perhaps, if I were smart, abundant, I want it to be fun. I want it to be joyful. I want it to be energy rich. I want to love my clients. I want my clients to love me. I want to be able to charge higher fees and offer a really bespoke, special service. I want to develop long-term relationships with my clients. Okay, so all of those things, I can actually pull that energy up into my present moment, and I can start to cultivate those emotions. I can start to cultivate the feelings of abundance. How, you might ask? Well, there's a few things you can do. The first thing you need to do is find the feeling already in you. Meaning, if you want to cultivate abundance and you want to have a business that feels abundant, we've got to pull that emotion into this present moment and find it. Find abundance in your body, in your life. Find an area of your life where you already feel abundant. Now, some of us may feel abundant in time. Some of us may feel abundant in love in our families. Some of us may feel abundant in creativity. Find the areas where you already have that emotion, you have access to it, and then use it to build more of that emotion. And then from that emotion, go and plan the business. So let's say, for example, you're designing a new program or a new product that you want to sell to clients. All right, go find that emotion of abundance, of gratitude, of whatever it is you're looking to cultivate. Bring it into the present moment. Maybe meditate, breathe deeply, light some candles, take a bubble bath, whatever it does, whatever you can do to feel the feelings. And then after that, or even in the middle of it, go and, all right, here are my ideas for my new program. Here's what I want to charge for it. Here's what I'm going to do for my clients. And create from the energy that you're looking to create more of. All right. I'm going to share a little story of my own so you can get a sense of how I've not only figured this out, but also built it into my business. So one of the things that I do, you may know about this, is I run a retreat called the Superstar Business Breakthrough. People come into my retreat to design their new businesses. They come in to create a new model, a new brand, a new vision for what they're creating. Most of my clients are speakers and authors, consultants, coaches, thought leaders. They come in to spend 3 days with me and my whole team, hands-on. And when I started doing these retreats years ago, and I didn't have this knowledge quite so clear, we would just roll up our sleeves and get to work. And it was like very diving in. And I remember at the beginning of the retreat, I would say to people, now we don't have a lot of time, so you've got to be quick and you got to make fast decisions. And I'm going to be pushing us along. Notice the energy that I was creating with that. I was creating a scarcity of time right at the beginning of this retreat. And I would notice that throughout the retreat, people would start to get nervous, like, we're running out of time. It's already day 2 and I don't have my thing figured out. What happens if I don't get it? Are you going to be able to help me? And so I was noticing this energy in the room with all the clients, and it was stressing me out. And so I made a decision that at the beginning of the retreat, instead of saying this thing about being scarce in time, what would happen if I instead said, we are abundant in time. We have all the time we need. I've done this a bunch of times. I know what it takes. We've got a whole team here. Trust me, we're going to get this done. If you're feeling a little behind, don't worry. Let us know. We'll help you figure it out. But we are so abundant in time. That is the one thing we have absolutely enough of. So please don't worry about that. And it changed the entire feeling of the event. I tell you, it just relaxed people and it changed the whole dynamic of how we made decisions and how we moved from one thing to the next, because we didn't have people scarcity, holding on, I'm not gonna get it. And instead they were like, oh, Michelle said to trust, so I'm gonna trust. And another thing that we do along those lines is every morning now, even though I have the exact same number of hours I've always had, we take about 15 to 20 minutes to slow down and do a focusing, visualizing, or presencing meditation of some sort, just to get people relaxed and into a better energetic state so that from there they can create something more beautiful and amazing. If you are looking to create your business with more freedom, more joy, more fulfillment, more prosperity, let's connect. You can find me at superstaractivator.com/go and find out more about how you can work with me and work with my whole team. I look forward to meeting you.